to BYOB Market Talks. So as you continue to log in, drop it in the chat. Let me know where you're calling in from. But what I want to do right now is let me welcome you. Who do we have? I see Jacksonville, Minnesota, Cleveland. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, California, Jacksonville, Cleveland. Good evening. Okay, Cleveland is in the house today. Minnesota. Let me see. Is it Michigan, New York, Columbus? Ladies and gentlemen, keep dropping it in the chat. I see Nigeria, BYOB worldwide. Yes, BYOB worldwide. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited. All right, I am actually excited right now. This is BYOB Market Talks, and I have the absolute pleasure, right? You guys have been joining us. You've been plugged in. We are BYOB Master Traders. We are educated BYOB Master Traders that are anointed for wealth, right? We walk in confidence, boldness, and we understand that. And so, but it is a pleasure because for those of you all who had the opportunity to join us, for those of you all who had the opportunity to join us last Thursday, you got the announcement of a lifetime, and that's that Be Your Own Bank BYOB movement now has a BYOB Cash Out Educators, right? So that is definitely something to get excited about. So I'm definitely excited because tonight is BYOB Basics, and we have our PIP Master on the line. This woman, this individual, she is experienced, okay? She is experienced. I'm talking about she is already built a multi-billion-dollar business, all right? Multi-million-dollar business. And I want you to understand the power behind that. And so now she's here to assist you in making sure that you and your family can do the exact same thing. And so we're talking about someone who is definitely experienced. She has over 25 years experience in this arena, in this field, in this industry that we're talking about. But her heartbeat and her passion is for people. And that's ultimately the conversation we're having right now. So I'm going to move out of the way, and I am turning this call over to none other than Miss Tonya Anderson, our BYOB Cash Out Basics Educator, our PIP Master. Miss Anderson, are you on the line?
I am on the line, Trade Whisperer, and thank you so much for that amazing introduction. It is indeed my privilege and honor to be on the line. This is a dream come true because when I got involved in the markets, I looked at it as Chinese arithmetic, and that was a short time ago. And now you have invited me to share your platform, and I couldn't be more honored. And ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time plugging in, you just heard from the creator of the BYOB strategy. She has simplified this skill so that the average person can get involved in the market and in a very short period of time become very profitable. She has a background that you would be blown away with, a retired major from the U.S. Army. She has a background in financial planning, real estate. She has done it all, but she has poured her heart into this platform so that we can be our own bank. So thank you so much for that amazing introduction. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want you all to understand that I am humbled because I got involved in this arena of trading back in March of 2019. And when I got involved, it was because I saw a Facebook post about being able to learn a skill that you could compound your money for a very nominal entry. You didn't have to have tens of thousands of dollars. The average person could learn this skill, teach it to other people, and empower themselves for generations to come. So when I saw that, I reached out to the person who had posted that. So make sure you are sharing this on social media because you never know when the timing is right for someone to jump in heads first to change their financial trajectory. So I reached out to the person. I enrolled in the academy. This was March of 2019. And from March until September, I studied the academy, but I was still very, I don't want to use the word I want to use, but I didn't know what I was doing. And then I was introduced to the trade whisperer. I was introduced to the visionary, Mr. Gerald Rogers. And ladies and gentlemen, by January, I was in the market cashing out because of this strategy. So I'm very passionate about teaching this because I believe if we can teach this to the masses of people, we can make incredible strides in our community. So be your own bank. What about that movement? The title is powerful in and of itself. We all use banks in some form or fashion. We cash our checks. We have direct deposits. We have ATM cards. We have Visa, MasterCard, American Express. So the power behind being your own bank, can you imagine where this can take us if we take this very seriously? So ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand how this all came to be. This is our BYOB Dream Team. We have the visionary, Gerald D. Rogers, who came up with this concept of being your own bank, being able to share his 25 years of investment banking experience. He has a background as a real estate developer, mortgage lending, both in the residential and commercial space. He's a business success coach and mentor, and I can go on, but he is the reason why we are all here tonight. And then I shared with you about Miss Tasha M. Dyer, the trade whisperer, the creator of the BYOB cash out strategy. She has blessed so many people around the globe because she simplified this process. And then we have the finance doctor, Dr. Craig Bythewood, who has his PhD in finance and economics. He's a consultant. He's been involved in Fortune 500 companies as CFOs, teaching them how to better their strategies and systems that they have in place. He's a professor. He answers any financial question that we have, ladies and gentlemen, twice a week on this platform. So we have an invaluable system in place that you definitely don't want to take for granted. So that is our BYOB Dream Team. They pour hours upon hours of training, of coaching, and then behind the scenes, they're always coming up with something that's going to advance this movement. So I'm just excited to be a part of this. And ladies and gentlemen, just to be an educator in a very short period of time, do you realize how long it would typically take someone to be able to learn a skill such as this traditionally, and then be able to cash out every single day, several times a day? That would take years upon years of formal education and then training after your formal education. And that's the power behind what we have. And it's all about leadership breeds duplication. Miles Monroe talks about it all the time. Well, he used to, may you rest in peace, but I still read his book. So it's like he's still alive to me. And so he talks about the mark of a true leader is to duplicate yourself and become unnecessary. And in just a short period of time, the trade whisperer, Miss Tasha M. Dyer, has done that, because now I'm sharing the platform not only with the Dream Team, but now the second generation. And then that second generation is going to lead to the third generation. And we're just going to continue to compound ourselves as we compound our money in the market. So we have the queen of indices, Miss Fadia Thompson. She's going to be teaching us how to take profit with US 30, the NASDAQ, S&P 500, just to name a few. Then we have none other than Bonita Brantley. She's the trading diva, and she's the HFX sniper. So we'll be able to go in and capture the market as it relates to options. And then my tagline is the Pip Master. So you can just call me Master P, like Bishop named me earlier today. So we are excited to be able to be invited to this platform, and we're going to pay it forward and make sure that we educate as many people as we can so that the vision will continue to grow. So BYOB, ladies and gentlemen, is the largest economic empowerment movement in the history of mankind. So if you're a part of this platform, you definitely want to share this statement several times a day. Who wouldn't want to be a part of the largest economic empowerment movement in the history of mankind? We've read about movements before, and I shared last week, what if Rosa Parks would have been a billionaire? What if Martin Luther King would have been a billionaire? You see the mark that they made without having any money. What if they would have been empowered economically with those movements? Where would we be today? Well, we have our hands on the tool that would allow us to do what they didn't have the opportunity to do because they didn't have the finances to do so. But we have the heart, we have the vision, we have the education, the know-how, the stamina, and we're going to financially educate, impact, and empower 2 million families by March 28th, 2022. How are we going to do it? Because it's very simple. You're going to take advantage of this system. You're going to enroll, learn, and profit, and teach other people how to do the exact same thing. So ladies and gentlemen, these are our affirmations. When you jump on our Zoom call, this platform, you want to be prepared with your affirmations. Why? Because when you have a positive mind, then you give out positive vibes. And when you give out positive vibes, then you create a positive life. So who wouldn't want to have a positive mind if the result is going to be a positive life? So here's what you want to add to your daily affirmation list. I am a BYOB master trader. I am the signal. All my trades end in profit. I'm an educated trader. I am a profitable trader. I am 777. That means you're cashing out daily in the market. I am anointed for wealth, and I am a billionaire. See, your words are creative, so you want to affirm everything that you desire. Nothing should come out of your mouth that you don't desire. So you want to make sure that you grab a hold of these affirmations. You want to make sure you drop these affirmations in the chat and then add to it, because you're always creating. In life, we're either growing or we're dying. There's nothing in between. So ladies and gentlemen, as you enroll in the academy and you decide to be your own bank, there are a few important terms that you definitely want to understand so that you can identify these indicators in the market in order to be able to cash out. I love the simplicity behind what we do because children are able to capture this vision, learn this strategy, and cash out. And so number one, we want you to understand that as we look at our charts, we're going to be looking for indicators. Now, indicators are simply tools that are used to predict future prices. So an indicator is a tool that is used to predict future prices. The stochastic, this is our leading indicator. What does that mean? I love the example that Ms. Dyer uses when she talks about the head of the household. Well, she talks about that as it relates to the charts, but you can also refer it to what we want to dive into when we look at the charts. When we open our chart, the first thing we want to do is look at that stochastic. It's going to tell us what direction we're going to move in the market in that particular currency pair or whatever asset you might be evaluating. So this is the first step. This is our stochastic. It measures the momentum of price and it gives clues about trend shifts. So in the market, trend shifts mean that the market is either buying, where we see green candles, is either selling, where we see red candles, or it's consolidated, where the candles are moving from left to right. There's really no trend in place. And we're going to show you what it means to identify an overbought or an oversold position. And then we have the Hikanashi candles. This is our lagging indicator. See, the leading goes first. The lagging indicators come next. So our Hikanashi candles, they're trend candles that help identify whether the market is pushing an asset's value up, down, or sideways. So again, it's a lagging indicator, a trend candle. It helps identify whether the market is pushing an asset's value up, down, or sideways. And the beauty of this is that it doesn't matter what direction the trend is traveling within, we can take profit. And then we have the parabolic stop and reverse. We call it the PSAR for short. It's a lagging indicator as well. It looks like a dot or a small cross that outlines candles. It's used to determine the stop loss, the entry, and or the exit points for a trade. So these are the simple terms that you want to master and be able to identify as you learn this strategy. So I love this. I love this. I love this. If you go to our website, BeYourOwnBankMovement.com, and you click on the files folder, you'll be able to download this, but you can take a screenshot of it right now so that you understand the steps that we take with this simple strategy. So number one, you need to enroll in the academy so you have access to the tool called the Web Analyzer. That's the former name. The current is the vibrata. So when we're able to go in and access this chart, this is a chart that banks use in order to be able to identify trends in the market to make money off of the money that we leave in the banks. So we have the same opportunity from the comfort of our home to access this tool. And so we have 3 simple things we talked about. So review stochastic, review Hikinashi candles, review the location of the PSAR. We're going to do that tonight when we pull up the vibrata or the web analyzer. And so we are either looking for a sell or we're looking for a buy as it relates to entering a trade. So when we're looking for a sell, the stochastic, which is represented by a red and a blue line, when the stochastic is traveling around the 80 at the top of the oscillator, that means that it is going into a sell because what goes up must come down. And so you look for the blue and the red line to cross each other in a downward position around the 80. So that's your first step in the strategy when the market is selling. Then you look at the Hikinashi candle. And you want to identify the first candle that you see with a flat top when the market is changing positions from a buy to a sell or from consolidation to a sell. So you're looking for a flat top with a red candle, and then the PSAR travels above the candles. But when the PSAR flips and it ends up above the red candle with the flat top, then that is an indication that you may have a great entry for a sale. Now, when you're looking to enter for a buy, that means the price of the asset is increasing. The stochastic is around the 20. So it's at the bottom area. And we'll show you that in the chart. And the red and the blue line, when they cross over and head in an upward position from the 20 or around the 20 area, then you know that the momentum is heading up. And that's the first step to identifying an entry for a buy. Then you're going to look for a green candle with a flat bottom. So this indicates a strong buy. And so when you identify that green candle with the flat bottom, then the PSAR is going to flip and end up beneath the green candle with the flat bottom. Then that's a good indication on the 15-minute chart that you can then go and look for your confluence. And we'll talk about confluence as well. But this is the simple strategy, ladies and gentlemen, where you can take one trade a day, compound that trade, and create wealth. It just takes patience, discipline, and then you can profit. So we're going to dive in. I'm going to pull up the vibrata so that you can understand the power behind this. So I'm going to stop sharing my slides and I'm going to go back in and share the tool that we all know and love if we're part of this platform. So if you can see my chart, if you all can let me know, somebody unmute or drop a 777 in the chat if you can see the chart.
We see it, Miss Anderson.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Miss Laster. I appreciate you. All right. So let me share something with you all. When I saw my first chart, I had never seen a chart like this before. So I didn't even know where to look. In school, when we learn about charts and graphs, typically we're looking to the left. And there's either the time or whatever measurement on the left, and then the bottom has something else that we're comparing to. But in this instance, we're going to take our focus all the way over to the right of the chart. And that is where the movement occurs. Everything else, so I'm going to put my cursor right here where the live candle is sitting. Let me go to the 15-minute chart because that's where we live. That's where we start. But this candle to the far right, this is a live candle. And so on the side here, this is the value or the price, the actual price of this currency pair. So I'm going to go to GBP USD because that is my boo. That's my favorite pair because it pays daily. If you want to cash out daily and you are like me, I don't know. I just have scalping in my blood. I try to do longer trades, but I'm just a scalper at heart. Anybody else a scalper on the line? Let me get a 777 in the chat. We're going to start our Scalpers Anonymous class and have our t-shirts and bumper stickers as well. But I'm just a scalper at heart. And look at all these 777s. I love it. Absolutely. And so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is not hard. It is just different. So my objective tonight is to make sure that you understand the simplicity behind what it is that we're doing. So if you take your eyes and you follow me all the way to the right side of the chart, you're going to see the actual price of the GBP USD pair. What does that mean? It's comparing the British pound to the US dollar, okay? So right here is the price. And then here you see this little bitty candle here. This is the live candle. There's also a timer on the right side of this chart. It's counting down. So on this chart, because it's the 15-minute chart, every 15 minutes, we're going to have a brand new candle. Okay? So this candle is going to tell you where the price is headed. Is it going up, down, or sideways? So that is where you want to pay attention when you're evaluating a trade. We want to take our eyes all the way over here to the right side. This is price. And then on the bottom, this is time. So you have the time and the day at the bottom of the chart. Now, let's identify our indicators. We talked about the stochastic. It's an oscillator. So with the stochastic here, it travels. So the red and the blue line represents the stochastic. And it travels in this purple area, right? So we're going to keep this very simple because we want a first grader to be able to understand what it is we're doing. So I was taught a long time ago that any idiot can confuse a thing, but it takes someone who's masterful to simplify something. So that's why I know Miss Dyer is a master at what we're doing, because she took this thing and simplified it. And that's what I love about this. So this is the stochastic. You have a red line and you have a blue line. And it travels between the 80 and the 20. Now the range starts at 0 and it goes to 100. But what we pay attention to is the range between the 20 and the 80. Okay, so I want you to think about these ranges as mile markers. You know, when you're driving in the highway and you have mile markers, they're simply there to tell you where you are on the highway. So right here within with this purple area, this is designed to tell us where we are in the market. Okay, so here at the top of the purple area, that is the 80 range. That's the 80 range, or the area where 80 is. And then at the bottom, you have the 20. So these are ranges. So now what we're going to do is we're going to show you what oversold means and what overbought means. And so when you see the stochastic, so it's weird to say a singular word, but you're referring to two things, but we are. So just wrap your mind around the fact that the stochastic is two lines, the red and the blue line. So when they cross over each other, it doesn't matter if the blue crosses the red or the red the blue. As long as they cross over each other around the 80, we know that price is now overbought, because what comes up when price is traveling up, we know we're in a buy. That means the value of the asset is increasing. But when we see the stochastic cross over each other around the 80, it doesn't have to be right on the 80, it can be around the 80 and begin to head down, then we know that we're heading into a sale. So when we identify the overbought stochastic, it's around the 80. And when we identify the oversold stochastic, it's around the 20 at the bottom of the purple shaded area. So that's an indication for us to start watching this currency pair, GBP USD, because what did I state earlier? What goes up must come down. And so when we're trading, we want to make sure that there's movement when we enter a trade. Now, how do we identify when there's movement? In a couple different ways. The stochastic is telling us that it's momentum in the market when it crosses over and begins to move up, or it crosses over and begins to move down. That's one way. The other way that you can tell that there is movement in the market is you simply look at price. So when you go over here to the far right of the chart and you look at price and none of these numbers are moving, you stay out of the market. So there's a song that I used to like back in the day, when I move, you move, just like that, right? So in the charts, if price is moving, you move. If price is not moving, you don't move. You wait. It's just that simple. So you always want to ride the wave, and that's momentum in the market. All right. So let's go over the strategy. So we're going to identify a beautiful entry for a buy and a beautiful entry for a sell, so that you can understand how easy it is to recognize when to enter a trade. I love this strategy, I'm telling you. So ladies and gentlemen, look at the red and the blue line, the stochastic, crossing over around the 80 right here, okay? So this is an indication to watch. It's not an indication to get in the trade. It's saying, okay, get your feelers up. You know, this is a good position. It's overbought. So it's what goes up must come down. So now we're gonna look for this crossover around the 80. That's our leading indicator. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to identify a red candle with a flat top. All right. So I don't know if this is big enough for you all to see, but right above the crossover, we have this red candle with a flat top. However, the third step is we need the PSAR to be above the red candle with the flat top. So this does not have a PSAR above it. The PSAR is down here. It hadn't flipped yet. So when we refer to the PSAR having flipped, it means that the PSAR goes from traveling below the green candles, and then it flips and begins to travel above the red candles. All right. So even though we have a red candle with a flat top here, we are going to wait until we have a red candle with a flat top and a PSAR above it. So actually, that doesn't happen until this candle right here. So what I'm going to do, there are tools on the left-hand side of this chart that we can use to mark our chart up. Now, remember, all of these candles to the right of the live candle that I pointed out, this is simply historical data. This is telling us where price has traveled from. But when we're all the way over to the right and we see that candle with nothing to the right of it, that's the live candle. But what I'm doing now is simply sharing with you historical data so that we can recognize what the market tells us when it's time for us to take a trade. So I'm going to click on this arrow here and I'm going to place it above this red candle with the flat top and the peace hour flip above it. Boom, right there. All right, so again, we identified the stochastic, the red and the blue line crossing over around the 80. Then we wanted to make sure that we identified the red candle with the flat top with a peace hour above it. So next, we're gonna go and we're gonna check for time frame confluence. Now, I don't, Miss Dyer is anointed with this because she came up with this strategy and it's been honed to a science. I mean, it works every time if you're disciplined enough to wait for the perfect setup. Okay, so now we are on the 15-minute chart. So if you look here at the top of the chart, excuse me, you see 1M, 3M, 5M, 15M, etc. These stand for 1-minute chart, 3-minute chart, 5-minute chart, 15-minute chart. So remember, I shared with you, there's a timer on the right-hand side of the chart, and it's counting down. And because we're on the 15-minute chart, every 15 minutes, we will see a brand new candle on the far right-hand side of the chart where there's nothing to the right of the candle. So I'm going to drop down to the 5-minute chart because that is where we're going to check to see if the asset, the GBP USD pair, is in a sale on the 5-minute chart. Now, here's what you want to keep in mind. You don't have to have everything aligned perfectly that we just mapped out on the 15-minute chart. It just has to look like it's still selling, okay? So you don't have to have the perfect setup. The stochastic doesn't have to be perfectly around the 80. The peace hour doesn't have to be perfectly above the first flat candle with the red candle with the flat top. It just needs to be in a sell, in the sell position, or the momentum of this price on the 5-minute chart needs to tell us that it's selling. So I'm going to drop to my 5-minute. And I'm going to look for that arrow. So it's going to be to the left. To the left, to the left. Any Beyonce fans on the line? I know it's some haters out there, but it's got to be. Drop a 777 if you like Beyonce. Come on, who? What? Yes, Beyonce. Somebody dropped 10 sevens. Exactly. All right, so we are going to look for the arrow. Okay, so what are we going to look at first? The stochastic. Now, here we go. This stochastic is telling us it is heading up for a buy. All right, because the red and the blue line are around the 20, heading in an upward position or momentum, but we have a strong red candle. Okay, so we have mixed emotions on the 5-minute. Now, I'm just going to keep the strategy very simple because you'd rather miss a trade that you weren't 100% sure about than jump in the trade and lose some money. So we're going to always err on the side of waiting for the perfect entry. So remember, discipline and patience equal profit. Okay, so although you have this beautiful red candle here, the stochastic is heading up. So that's telling you, warning, warning, may not be the perfect entry. So now what I'm going to do anyway, I'm going to check the 1 hour and see what the 1 hour is telling me. So we're going to check time frame confluence, and we're going to use the factor of 4, 5, or 6. So what does that mean? We're going to, when we're evaluating off of the 15-minute chart, or I'm sorry, 3, 4, or 5, I'm getting it messed up. But just know when you're starting out, You're just going to evaluate on the 15-minute and confirm on the 5-minute and the 1 hour. Those are your charts that will give you your confluence to let you know that the trade is valid. Because if everything is moving in the same direction, then you have a valid trade. So I'm going to go to my 1 hour. Here we are. And now look at my stochastic here. So I do have it, it's kind of like in the middle. I have a red candle here. There's wicks on the top or the bottom. So, I wouldn't be 100% comfortable yet getting in that trade if I was brand new. Now, as you evolve with your skill and you learn about support and resistance lines and breaking through ranges and zones, then, that's another conversation. But we want you to make sure that you understand the basics. So if your stochastic is moving up, and you're trying to enter a sale, just wait because you don't have the perfect setup. All right. So that is telling me this is how when Ms. Dyer talks about letting the market speak to you, the market will tell you when to get in, when to stay out, and when to watch. All right. Those are the conversations you want to listen for. And you do that by understanding that the leading indicator, if that's not where it is if that's not telling you I'm doing what you want your trade to do, then stay out of the trade. All right, let's go back to the 15-minute chart. And remember, this is the basics, okay? So we are now going to look for a buy. So when you're looking for a buy, I'm going to take this off. You want the stochastic to cross over each other around the 20. So at the bottom of the purple shaded area, that is where you want the stochastic to cross over. Now, once you identify the area in which that's happening, then you move up on the chart and you want to look for a green candle with a flat bottom. But you also need the PSAR to be below that green candle with the flat bottom. So the PSAR is not here. So I'm going to wait because this candle has a wick under it. But here's a green candle with the flat bottom and the PSAR is beneath it. So even though the stochastic has traveled up, you still need to wait until you see the green candle with the flat bottom and then the PSAR beneath the candle. So I'm going to go back to my tool, my arsenal belt here. I'm going to pick this arrow pointing up because I'm looking for a buy. And now I'm going to check my confluence on the 5-minute chart and the 1 hour. All right, so I'm going to drop to the 5-minute chart and I'm going to look for my arrow. Now, you don't need these arrows when you're live in the trade because you're in real time. I just want to make sure I am going to the right moment in time on the chart. Now, the other thing you can do is you can just simply look down here at the time, but you still want to be very accurate and make sure you're looking at the right candle. So here, my stochastic, although it's around the 80, is still traveling upward. And then I have a healthy green candle traveling upward. So to me, that would be confluent. All right, now it is. So let me take a step back. It's going sideways here. But you have a healthy green candle here. So let's look at the 1 hour and see what it's telling us. Let's see what the 1 hour is telling us. Boom. Now, this is the head of the household when we're looking for confluence. So we have the stochastic crossing over and heading up. Even though it started here, it's still in that upward momentum heading upward. Then we have this healthy green candle. Well, it has a wick here, but this is still telling us based upon the stochastic that this is a buy. Now I want to drop down to my 30-minute chart for confirmation of what I see on the 1 hour. And if this looks very strong as a buy would here, then it will tell me, yes, this is a trade that you want to get into. So I have the stochastic around the 20. That's my leading indicator. That's a go, right? And then I look up, I see the green candle. It has a flat bottom. It's a healthy looking candle. The P star is underneath it. I would get into this trade. So let's go back to the 15-minute chart. And I love this because Ms. Dyer says it all the time. An educated trader is a profitable trader. Where'd my arrow go? I know it's not that far back. Let's see. Here it is. Okay. So I would enter into this trade. So let's take a look and see how far up this buy went and how many pips we would have gotten. So with this strategy, when you're a beginner, you want to go for 10 pips and cash out. So a pip is simply a measurement. Instead of measuring in dollars and cents, we're measuring the movement of this asset in pips. And when you enroll in the academy, you will get that understanding broken down to you. But just know, we're looking for 10 movements. It's called pips. I'm going to measure it with this tool based upon where I entered this trade. So I'm going to see if it would have been worth getting into this trade with this measuring tool. So here's the start. So you would have gotten probably about 30 pips because we have to take into account our pip reaction time. That's simply the amount of time that it takes for us to get our phone out, pull up our app, which is called the MetaTrader 4. That is where we place our trades. So we definitely would have been able to get 10 pips and cash out if we would have taken these trades. So that is the simplicity behind the BYOB strategy. So now that we have gone over, what to look for in the market and on the chart, we're going to stop sharing the vibrata. And I want to go back to my slides so that we can talk about what you do. Not what I need. We're going to talk about what you do to enter a trade on your phone. Because if you don't understand that thoroughly, then it doesn't matter if you can identify the information on the chart. You need to know how to make sure you enter the trade on your phone as well. So let me go back here. Let me know when you can see my slides again.
Yes.
Those aren't the slides I need. Let's see. They're gray. Where'd my slides go? Here we go. All right, let's see here. Okay, do you see the word, the vibrata?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So we're going to pick up where we left off. Now, this is my favorite thing to look at during the day. This is our compounding sheet. Why do I have this compounding sheet or this compounding chart here? Because we need to know our lot size when we're entering a trade. So we get our lot size from the compounding chart, and it's based upon the risk that you want to take while you're in the market. So this compounding chart, let me break down the different columns on it for those of you who are new to the call. So in column A, we have a number for each trade that you take. Column B, this is your beginning balance. So I have a beginning balance here of $1,000. You can change it all the way down to $50 if you want, or all the way up to 100,000. It's based upon what you have to risk in the market, and never trade more than you can afford to lose. So that's just a rule of thumb to be conservative. Column B is your balance. Column C, this is your percentage of risk. So when I'm trading with $1,000 or more, I'm risking 5%. That's just me. You want to be more conservative if you want with, it's recommended 3% or less. But I like to, I'm a scalper, so I just can't help it. I like sports cars. I had, my favorite car that I've ever owned was a Maserati. I just like moving fast. So my percentage here is going to be 5% risk. And then this column shows you, column D, your profit. So if you risk 5% and you're going for a 10 pip trade, that means the movement of that asset is going to move 10 pips. And you'll understand that when you enroll in the academy. It's going to tell you what lot size to select when you're entering the trade. So if I'm beginning with $1,000 balance and I want to take a 5% trade, a trade that I risk 5% of my account for, then I'm going to set my lot size at 0.50. Now, when that trade pans out, like it did several times today with GBP USD, then you get $50 for that. That's going to be your first profit that's added into your broker account. And then as your balance increases, you're going to keep the percentage the same, but your profit is going to increase. And that's the beauty of compounding. See, when you start with a higher balance and your percentage of growth is the same, your profit is going to be higher because your balance is continuously growing. So we call compounding the eighth wonder of the world, because where else can you take a little bit of money and grow it every single day, and by the end of a year's time, have as much money as you desire? So after 20 successful trades, there's 20 days, 20 great trading days in a month typically. You could have compounded your $1,000 starting balance to $2,653.30. That's powerful. So if you have $1,000 in the bank right now, how much interest do you get after the month is over? If you're in just a regular checking account, 0, right? You might have some fees. But let's take a look at what would happen. And this is a hypothetical situation, but it is possible. And with this strategy, it's probable if you follow it very conservatively. This jacks me out of my mind every time I see it. So what I want you all to do is to take a screenshot of this, because I don't know about you, but nobody ever sat me down and taught me how I could take $1,000 and in 12 months turn it into 7 figures. But that is what this can do for us all. And we're in the year of our 7-figure status. That's our goal, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the blueprint. So let's just say in month 1, you started with $1,000 balance, okay? You took a stimulus check or whatever you needed to do, tax refund, and you took $1,000 and you put it in your broker account. And you just took one trade a day, 20 days a month. That is it. 10 pips and cashed out. Just 10 pips a day, right? Your ending balance would be $2,653 at the end of those 20 days or 20 trades. So as your skill set increases, you're going to be able to take longer trades, or you could take multiple trades. So it's totally up to you. Your trading style, you'll figure that out as you practice in your demo account. But I'm a scalper, so I might take 5-10 trades a day, right? But starting out, what if you just took one successful trade a day because you didn't have time to look for more than one? And you, at the end of the month, you want to pay yourself, right? So you want to withdraw $1,000 from the market, from your broker account. Now, guess what? Everything else that you're trading, you're in your account is from profit. So you've already withdrawn your principal, what you started with. So now you're trading with the rest, your profit. That's a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. So in month 2, you're going to start with $1,653. You're going to take one trade a day for 20 days. And then you're going to end up with $43.85. So guess what? Month 2, pay yourself $2,000. Withdraw $2,000 from the market. Then in month 3, you're going to start with $23.85. You'll end up with $63.28. I'm not going to go through every line item, but I suggest taking a picture of this, visualizing this, because what you affirm, what you visualize, what you meditate over, what you believe, what you constantly repeat to yourself comes to life. You're creating your future. So let's just take a walk down the chart. You see how this is compounding, and it continues to compound. Month 7, month 9, month 10, month 12, look at the ending balance after just one trade a day with 10 pips. So ladies and gentlemen, it is okay if you're a scalper. It doesn't matter if you're an intraday trader. It doesn't matter if you're a swing trader. Whatever your style, just know you can get wealthy regardless. And so at the end of the 12-month period with just one trade a day, 20 trades a month, 10 pips each, you could end up with $2.6 million in your trade account. What if that were the case and you withdrew $1 million? Well, I don't know if your broker would even let you, but we're going to figure it out, right? Month 12, you withdrew $1 million and you started over with the difference. In 2022, you started with a balance of 1.6 million. Guess what? That year, billionaire status. I am a master trader. I am the signal. I am 777. I am a billionaire. Here is your roadmap. So we're not blowing smoke. We take trades every single day. As long as you're disciplined and you follow conservatively those steps that I just laid out to you, you can become a seven-figure earner this year in the next 12 months. But what if this was half right? What if you got it half right? Would it be okay if at the end of 12 months, you started with $1,000 balance that you withdrew at the end of that month, and then you ended up with $500,000 that you withdrew? Or what if you got it 0.25%? Or what if you got it 25% correct? So ladies and gentlemen, this is powerful. This is how you can be your own bank. Now, let me move forward because I got excited. I didn't even have you get your phones out. If you already have the MetaTrader 4 and you know how to take trades, do it anyway, because it's not just good enough for you to know how. It's good. You need to know how to instruct someone else to do it. So we want you to get your phones out. Why? Because perfect practice makes perfect. Those individuals who are in they're professional athletes, what do they do every day? They practice the same fundamentals every single day so that they can be number one at their craft. So we want you to get your phones out so you can become a BYOB educator as well. We need educators in order to move this movement forward. So number one, this is if you have an Android. You go to your MetaTrader 4 and you go to your main menu. So the MetaTrader 4 is an app you're going to download onto your phone. And this application, it houses your broker account. So you're going to go to the main menu, click on MT4 app. You click start, open the program on your phone. Your screen will look like this. And you'll see a list of currency pairs displayed here. In order to add more currency pairs that you don't see here, you click this plus. But we're just giving you the basics so you know what to look for. Because it's not hard, it's just different, you know? So now you're going to click on the currency pair of your choice. In this example, it's EU, EUR/USD. You're going to click, let me go back. You're going to click new order. Okay. Then you're going to market execution. It's automatically there. So you're going to leave that at market execution. And then what you're going to do is you're going to set your lot size. So in the example I use, you would change this 1.00 to 0.50. You would just click right there and change it. Or you could, hit these numbers to the left or the right and it would do it slower. But just click here and type it in yourself. And then just know on the left where you see a red line right here, that is where you set your stop loss. So we'll talk about stop loss on the next week on the basics, because I ran through the chart and forgot to talk about the stop loss, but that's what your PSAR is for. So you set your stop loss. This is your safety net. Your stop loss keeps you from losing tons of money in the market if you make the wrong prediction. But we're not even going to talk about that or give it any life. You just want to set your stop loss because you want to be conservative, wise, and smart and protective of your money. All right. Now, on the right side, you'll see a green line. This stands for take profit. So just remember, red equals stop, green equals go or pay me or green cash, right? So your take profit, this is where you set how far you want the market to move before it takes you out of the trade. So you will want to set this for 10 pips. So you will want to add 10, and we'll teach you that, how to add your pips and everything else. But you would then hit where you think the price is going here on the right side. All right. So then what you want to do, once you enter the trade, you want to go back in and modify the trade. Then what you do is you press and hold to open the menu up again. You press and hold the currency pair. In this case, it would be EU. So you can close the trade and you can modify the order you can modify a couple things during the trade. You can modify your stop loss and you can modify your take profit, but you can't change your lot size. So this is how you would go in to make a modification. Now that's the Android. So here's how it looks on the iPhone. So you open up your MetaTrader 4 on your iPhone. This is how your screen will look. You'll see your list of currency pairs. You use the same plus sign to add currency pairs that you don't see. I got 2 minutes, so let me hurry up here. And then you're going to click trade to enter the trade. This is what you're going to see with the iPhone. So you're going to change your lot size in the same place. And then it looks a little bit different. So the stop loss is here on the iPhone. That's where you set your stop loss. And then here's where you set your take profit. So the joys in the iPhone are set up a little bit differently, but this is what you want to focus on. Blue, 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 blue. So this is just a screenshot I found online. Once you start taking profit, this is what it's going to look like in your phone. So you want to practice in your demo account because perfect practice makes perfect trades. And then you want to drop your 777s in the chat. So if you haven't already connected to our WhatsApp, our Telegram chats, you want to get connected into those so that you can then see how many people, thousands of people around the world are taking profit from the market because of this ingenious strategy. So here's the BYOB vision. We always want to begin with the end in mind. 2 million families financially educated and impacted by when? March 28, 2022. Add that to your affirmation as well, because we are responsible for making it happen. And realize this, when we take 100% responsibility for everything, that is when we live an opulent life. So enroll in the academy, learn this skill, take profit. Let's change our generations forever because of this blessing called the BYOB Cash Out. And what will it take to make it happen? Movements. First, you have to move. You have to take action. You have to decide. You have to enroll. Then you have to press the button. Learn the strategy, practice, practice, practice. Start your live account as soon as you're comfortable with your trading, so that the market, when the market starts talking to you, that's when you start making big major moves. So with that being said, I'm going to turn the platform back over to the trade whisperer herself so that we can transition to the next component of this platform. With that, take it away, Ms. Dyer.
Wow, wow, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, seriously, let me get an 888 in the chat if tonight was eye-opening. Let me get an 888 if tonight was just phenomenal for you.